I'm sure you enjoyed being the match as much as all the other England fans yesterday. Who impressed you out of? Obviously, it was good to see the 3 players who missed penalties at Wembley last year get on the score sheet. I mean, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, look, I think it's kind of a redemption, isn't it? It's kind of, it's great to see again. Look, we don't want to get carried away. It is Iran, but it's nice to see them score goals and people celebrating them, unlike the last time when they were getting a bit of, or obviously getting hard time and racial abuse.
Yeah.
It's nice to see that they're actually getting the plaudits now, because it was a fantastic game from them. When you're looking at Saka, it was a great game from him. He was arguably the man of the match at times.
Yeah, I think Saka was definitely the main man yesterday. He's been playing so well for Arsenal, and it's great to see him carry that form onto the World Cup.
I think you know the fascinating. Sorry to cut you. The fascinating thing with that is if you look at normal World Cups, and this is where you stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you look at normal World Cups, you would have you'd have 5 weeks off or something like that after the season.
Mm-hmm.
At least 4 weeks off. So you'd go away. You'd probably give you a little example. You'd probably go away yourself for a week, then you come back with the team for like 3-4 weeks, training, etc. But he's gone straight from his club, which is he's in the club and himself are in fantastic form, to going straight into this game. You haven't really got time you haven't really got time for your form to dip, or you haven't really got time to have time off. You're just going straight into another one. And I think that's why he's taken that form into this game and into this tournament.
That's very true. Same can be kind of said for Harry Kane in the opposite way. He was struggling a bit for Tottenham.
Yeah, you could say that, but I wouldn't be too concerned, because at any given time, Harry Kane can get goals and can turn that around, and the next minute he's scoring 4 goals and everyone's forgot about the last 6 months, or however long he's however long we perceive he's not been performing for, because he's a goal scorer. And as well, one thing I have to say as well is, when you're a captain, when you're a goal scorer, when you're forward, you really concentrate on yourself. Forwards are quite selfish. But when you're a captain, you've got to concentrate on everyone. You've got to be thinking about everyone. And that is probably something that could be attributed to that, because, again, he's got to be thinking about everyone rather than just himself. But I still think at any given time that can turn, and he'll get 3 or 4 goals. This tournament.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I mean, it's not really a concern right now, but coming up for the kind of Wales game, the USA game.
Yes.
See how it turns out. But like you say, if the goals are flowing around him, he won't be concerned, I wouldn't imagine.
And they are. You look at Jack coming on and scoring.
Yeah.
You look at Marcus coming on, and fantastic for Marcus, and Marcus is in unbelievable form at the minute as well. So. And again, it will probably be because he's in good form at his club, and he's firing at this moment in time, and the confidence is flowing. It will be that he's coming straight from that into this, and he just carries it on.
It's true. Jude Bellingham also, first goal for England, must be a great feeling for him.
Oh, a 19-year-old.
Yeah, brilliant. First goal for England at the World Cup. I mean, you look thrilled. Do you think he's nailed on to be starting now every game for England, or do you think Calvin Phillips would get a shot if he was fit?
Nailed on.
No,
he's nailed on for me. His energy, his ability on the ball, his calmness on the ball, his threat going forward, because he is a big lad for a 19-year-old.
Yeah,
tall, very tall. So yeah, I think he's got to be playing for me. And his maturity for a 19-year-old is phenomenal. So yeah, it's fantastic to see him playing the way he is, and I think I can't see anyone taking him out of the team at this moment in time. Even would I start Calvin Phillips? No, I'd probably stay as it is.
Yeah, no need to make a change yet. It really is.
No. Especially look, it was. It was Iran. Once the 2 goals went in, I said it's going to be 6. I didn't see them scoring, but they actually scored. One of the goals was really good, and obviously the other one is a penalty. So yeah, I didn't see them scoring, but I did see England scoring at least 6. So yeah, we don't want to get carried away with that, but we need to be careful going forward if we're going to be conceding 2 against or 2 against Iran.
Yeah, I suppose you could say obviously Southgate's probably not going to look to make any changes apart from unless we beat the USA, so we can rest a couple of players for Wales. Foden wasn't in the starting lineup. That kind of drew a bit of criticism, but realistically, would you start him against the USA?
Where would you put him again? He couldn't take Saka's place. Would he take Mounts? You'd probably say, if arguably, he'd probably take Mounts or something like that. But I don't see why you would change a winning formula at this moment in time.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is. And the fascinating thing is, the further we go, these are fresh legs that we can count upon, because again, he's as good as any of them on the pitch. So I think just see. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. But he's a great player to have there, waiting to, and he'll be chomping at the bit as well. He'll be wanting to play. So he'll want to show what he's capable of as well.
Definitely the same goes for James Maddison. Obviously, would have been thrilled to be involved in the squads after all the speculation. Will he? Won't. Now he'll be watching on, thinking, how am I going to get into this team? Is it kind of take an injury or something? You'd imagine for him to get a shot.
It wouldn't take an injury. Again, I guess I think I don't see him as a starter, but an impact player coming off the bench, 100%, especially. But I think he'd have to play in a specific position. I think he'd have to play. I'm not sure if he'd play on the 2 wide ones. He'd probably play in the number 10, where I think Mason Mount played. The good thing is the other players can actually play in several different positions, so that could free up him to be playing in there, and then Phil Foden, if they brought him on later on, could play on one of the wide ones, because he's played there several times.
That's true. Southgate's got great options. It's got
options. The options are crazy.
Yeah, it really is. It kind of taken everyone by surprise, considering how the end of the Nations League sort of finished on a flat note. It's turned around so quickly after one game.
Yeah.
But it's all about confidence, isn't it? I suppose, and that's
100%. When you're winning again, your confidence is sky high.
Mm-hmm.
When you're losing, obviously, it takes great characters to pull you out of that. They've got the great characters anyway, but they're running. They're sky high. Their confidence is running sky high at this moment in time.
Do you think England's kind of best form going, or best plan going forwards, is attack being the best form of defence? Because, like I said, they did look slightly shaky a couple of times against Iran, which you wouldn't expect. But we know Harry Maguire has been playing for his club, but he's playing for his country. So hopefully, a few games under his belt, confidence picks up for him too.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a few games will bode well for his confidence, and he'll get his sharpness back as well. I think the Iran goal, the lad made really good movement, to be fair, off the back of him. And he obviously didn't see it quick enough. But again, the sharpness will come. But like you're saying, I think attack being the best form of defence. If you attack them high, and this is the thing, everyone used to say, Rush is the best defender. Because again, he made sure it never got to the other side of it, where they're defending from there. He defended from the front. And we've got so many dynamic players that can do that. Why not do that?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Saka is he's looking like he could be one of the players of the tournament. It's not a massive surprise. I'm an Arsenal supporter. I've loved watching him flourish over the past few years. He's literally from my hometown in Greenford, Ealing. So it's been great for me to see him. How do you see him as one of the most kind of valuable players in the Premier League, sort of outside, obviously, Erling Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne? Can't see anyone really with sort of potential.
Do you know what? It fascinates me that someone so young can take such a big role on his shoulders. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Not easy. I moved from big clubs and went to smaller clubs, and everyone's looking at you to take that mantle,
True. Yeah.
and that's not easy. But he's taking it on a big club and doing it week in, week out, and putting performances week in, week out. But it shows where he is mentally, and when you're in a good place mentally, nothing's impossible. So I think he's showing that time and time again. He's happy to take that on his shoulders, as long as the crowd keep with him. Because again, when you're at, was he 20 now or 21?
21, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, 21. When you're at that age, there is times where you're going to have a little bit of a dip.
Mm-hmm.
Just bear with him.
Yeah.
Just bear with him. He'll come back. Because again, playing that many games at that level, you can burn yourself out. I've seen it.
It's great to see Southgate playing him in his, his preferred position now. I think,
yeah.
Obviously, before he never would have said anything, but you can imagine he was a bit confused. Was it that?
And I think that's the key thing. Footballers never say anything; they just go and do what they're told, and it might be to the detriment of where they believe they are and everything. But they do what the manager tells them. But play them in the right position, you get the best out of them.
Yeah, and that seems to be what happened yesterday, and hopefully we'll carry on throughout the tournament. How far do you actually think England could go? Obviously, it's early days, but
it's early days. The thing is, after the USA game, I think we'll have more of a inkling of
more of an idea.
Yeah, because again, it's difficult. It's difficult. No disrespect to Iran. It's Iran.
Yeah. Did you watch? Watch Wales against the USA as well? Both teams look good.
I called that as well. But I called it at halftime. I said, Wales going to get a chance. They're going to do well. They're going to score a goal. And the USA were fast breaking. They're very good, very athletic. So it's going to be interesting to see how we fare against them. I still feel we can beat them.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's how we fare against them, and then I think then we take it. I believe we could possibly get to about the semi.
Yeah.
I
think. Well, I haven't actually looked. If we win the group, I
looked at. I think it was Oracle put the thingy out, and I think they were talking about playing France, etc.
Yeah. That would be a huge match, imagine.
Yeah,
against France.
France have lost a lot of players.
That's true. Yeah,
players.
It's an big blow to them.
All them, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what they're playing today, aren't they? Later today, so
yeah,
interesting to watch them. William Saliba, another player who's been great for Arsenal.
Yeah,
see him starting for France.
Yeah, look, I think again the thing with this tournament, which is great, you can then look at who's in good form.
Yeah,
and start looking at the good form. And he's in good form. Arsenal top of the league, flying. So whoever's in Arsenal's team, they're in your national team. You've got to really, really seriously sit down and think about putting them in.
That's true.
If you've not thought about that before, you've got to seriously think about that. And he's definitely got a chance to be in that.
If England do reach the semi-final, as per your prediction, that mean Gareth Southgate's reached 2 World Cup semi-finals and the Euro finals. Would that classify him as England's greatest ever manager?
They won it in '66, so
that's true. So that was Al Framsby, right? So, but then Southgate, he can't be far behind. He just needs to actually get over the line, doesn't he?
Yeah. Now he'll be up there in our generation of the greatest managers. I think the way that he's brought everyone together, and you as a journalist, what's your thoughts on how he's actually handled himself with the media and brought the media closer to the players?
Well, it's true. I think. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. But like you say, he was coming in for some heavy criticism in the lead up to the tournament, but suddenly, he has got that charisma, hasn't he? And he's turned it around pretty quickly. But
yeah, look, I think for him, he's dealt with the criticism. We've come through an era that criticism was part of the cause. He's dealt with that. I think it's about what he's trying to do as well is take that burden off the players. Once you take that burden off the players, that's when they perform.
Yeah,
he takes that burden onto himself. One thing I will say is he's connected the media and he's connected the fans all together again. I obviously I played in 2 World Cups, and it was far from that. So it's great to see that everyone's connected again, because that kind of left for a while, especially when I was playing. But now it's like with social media, you feel like you're in the camp.
True.
You feel like you're part of it.
Yeah.
You know, and then as well, the content that they're putting out, it's current day content. It's not just an article. It's current day content. It's videos. It's games. It's all sort of stuff that people want to see.
Yeah, it's almost like you say, you feel part of it, and you feel a part of the camaraderie, and it's see, and it's kind of like when you see the videos of the players kind of meeting each other for the first time. Did you see the banter between Carl Walker and Saka saying like, "Oh, you guys are going to stop winning"?
Stop playing. Yeah.
It's kind of heartwarming to see as an England fan, and like you say, maybe in the past that was lacking, but now it's kind of.
No, to be fair, it was there. But it wasn't broadcasted like it was now. It's great that it's being broadcasted, because again, it shows a different side of the group and a different side of the football.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Moving on to something a bit maybe slightly more controversial. Obviously, Harry Kane didn't wear the One Love captain's armband against Iran, and then there was seems like FIFA have threatened to book players that do wear it. Do you think he should take a stance against the USA and wear it, or do you think that's it now? It's going to be.
I think that's it now. Again, we all have our beliefs, and we all stand by our beliefs. Yeah. But if it's going to be a detriment to you playing football, it shouldn't be. But they've taken that stance, and you've got to abide by it. You're in their World Cup.
Yeah, I guess that's all there is to it now. There's no.
Yeah, and we all have our beliefs, and we all should stand by them. But again, if the rule says this and that, and you're willing to go past that rule, then take it. But you've got to face the consequences as well.
You got any plans to head out there for any of the later?
I haven't at this moment in time. I'm doing a few shows in the UK. Okay. Viewings. We've got a viewing at King Power for the Wales game, so I'll be doing that.
Okay.
With the Leicester fans. And then I've got another one in Birmingham on is it Friday? The game.
Yes, Friday, 7 p.m. Yeah, because it kind of, from what I've seen, it kind of looks like a bit of a strange atmosphere out there. I don't know how you've kind of gauged it over the coverage that you've seen.
I think when you're going into a country with the rules that they have, I think everyone's got to abide by them, and that's it.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why you can't have fun watching a game of football. I can still have fun watching a game of football. I'm sure you can still have fun watching a game of football
without a beer.
Look, it is part and parcel. You've got to remember, I grew up in an era where it was basically you go from 11 o'clock in the morning till with a 3 o'clock kickoff, you sit in the pub until you're ready to go to the stadium, which is across the road.
Exactly.
You know, so I get all the arguments, but you know, the fundamental thing is the game of football. Go and watch it. Go and enjoy it. Go and cheer the lads on. Go get behind them. Exactly. If you want to boo them, go and boo them.
At least this way, people definitely be able to remember the match.
There you go. There you go. So yeah.
The atmosphere for the Wales-USA game looked pretty good as far as I could tell, but they did say that a lot of fans were leaving the stadiums at halftime for the Qatar game and things like that. I wonder whether, I presume, the kind of, as the tournament gets going, perhaps the atmospheres will kind of pick up and it will generate a bit more once you get the likes of the Brazil fans in the stadiums.
100%. Like once you start getting the South American teams in, their fans they're a bit lively, but they like to party, don't they? So it's all dancing, music, blah blah blah. So I think. But again, I think the US and the Wales fans were fantastic, and then the US fans are always going to be crazy. I sat and watched the game with an American guy, and it was just fun. But he was just jumping up all over the place.
Yeah.
You know, so I think once you get past this stage and we start seeing the seriousness of it, I think people forget and just carry on watching the football and take it in for what it is.
Yeah, I think, like you say, sort of, once the momentum's rolling, it's going to be another good World Cup. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure there's no big controversy, and the England fans don't get involved in any sort of mayhem. And it's just all.
Look, I think again, I don't think we can feed too much into that. It is what it is, but you can't take away from this is a World Cup. This is a state. You're looking at Saka, and you're looking at Bellingham.
Mm-hmm.
They've dreamt of being at the World Cup. They've dreamt of being at the World Cup, and they've gone and scored at a World Cup. There's only a certain amount of people that say that they've gone and done that.
Very true.
You know. By the way, can I say something? I don't know if this is. Have we ever had a son of a sitting president play at a World Cup and score a World Cup?
Good question. Not that I'm aware of. No.
That's George Weah's son, isn't it?
Yeah. Scored yesterday, didn't he, for the USA? Yeah. Good question. No, I can't. I really find it very unlikely that that's the case. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah. Good question. Yeah. Good on him as well. Good to see. But what a legend George Weah is. Someone.
Yeah.
That's quite a big legend to live up to have as your dad. But fair play. Now he's scored in the World Cup. Did George Weah ever?
No, he's gone 1/3. George Weah never played in the World Cup. He played for Liberia.
Liberia, that's right. Never qualified, I suppose. Crazy. Should we move on to the Premier League? A couple of questions about that. Obviously, you've yourself played for Leicester and Liverpool. Two teams who have kind of had sort of fortunes that have differed this year. Bad starts for both of them, but kind of bouncing back now. How do you feel about Liverpool specifically? How do you feel their season's kind of progressed? And has the World Cup come at a good time possibly for them?
Yeah, probably the World Cup has probably come at a good time for Liverpool too. Mind you, they were coming back, but it's a good time to try and get some players back in. It just wasn't what was expected. There's an expectation when you're playing for the big, let's say, big four teams, isn't there? And if it's not hit, everyone's like, whoa, he's got to go. What's going on? But, and they just wasn't hitting them heights that they've been so used to, you know. And everyone's talking, oh man, he's left and this and that, blah blah. They still got great players. So I couldn't put my finger on one thing that actually could have accumulated to them the kind of a downfall, a downfall in what we expect from them. But they've picked up again. I think was it the Napoli game helped as well. That was a huge game. Napoli hadn't lost the game in X amount of games. I can't remember how many games it was, but they hadn't lost the game, and they'd sit in top of the Serie A, flying. And Liverpool beating that helped. And hopefully this break comes at a good time where they can regroup and go again to try and probably push into the top six. Top four might be a bit of a push, I think. But yeah, top six, you never know. But I think top six.
I think that's kind of the least Liverpool fans would be expecting still.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. But we've got to be realistic as well. We've got to get into top four. Come on.
And Newcastle are flying. So
flying, and don't get me wrong. They're going to reinforce in January as well, possibly. The only thing I would say with Newcastle, have their players been in that situation for long enough that they know what it takes to get over the line, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they haven't got the experience of the
experience. Yeah. And when push comes to shove, and the pressure comes, can they keep it? Can they maintain it?
Remains to be seen. But like you say about January reinforcements, obviously Jurgen Klopp probably was feeling the pressure slightly. Now he'll be looking around the transfer market. Can you see him reinforcing the Liverpool squad?
Yeah, 100%. I believe possibly in midfield. I think it just needs freshening up in the midfield. I think probably a little bit more energy.
Well, we spoke about
Young,
someone with a lot of energy who could be on the radar, Jude Bellingham. You see the
yeah,
move for him.
100%, 100%. But again, the lad's got to pick up whoever he wants. To be honest with you.
Yeah, he's got a choice, hasn't he?
Yeah, but yeah, he would be 100% the first choice in my eyes. Can play in every single position in the midfield that he can, to be honest. So someone like that would be ideal, because that's exactly where especially youth and the energy in the midfield. I think that's what we actually need. Don't get me wrong, we've got Harvey Elliott, a young lad. So again, but he's probably not ready to play. Not ready to play regular, but ready to fight that fight to get us into the top four.
Yeah, I think someone else who's been linked with Liverpool is Wolves' captain, Mateus Nunes. Obviously, Wolves have been struggling this season, but they've got some undoubtedly quality players. Do you see someone like that fitting in well into the midfield there alongside sort of Henderson, or is Henderson someone that needs replacing now? Do you think?
Someone needs replacing. To be honest with you, again, he's a great captain. He's a great leader.
Yeah.
But getting to that latter stage, and I will probably know as well that he's not got the legs that he did at 20, 22, 23. So yeah, he's probably someone that we're probably looking at phasing out in the next year or two.
Yeah, I guess not season now, and you have to wait to see. But I presume the money would be there if he goes and asks FSG, asks the owners, says I need sort of 100 million Bellingham.
At the end of the day, if you go and get Jude Bellingham, it puts the price of the club up anyway.
That's true. Such an asset, he would be one of the big assets, wouldn't he? So
it's not like he's an asset in his 30s, 30s, close to 40s. He's an asset when he's 19.
So you're getting at least 10 years.
There you go.
Out of him. Obviously, the resale value would be, you'd hope, even more than you'd sign him for. So kind of a no-brainer, really.
You put it in the contract like Barcelona did.
As in I wonder in terms of sell-on clauses, what Dortmund would kind of negotiate on that. But yeah, they're kind of a tough club to deal with, Dortmund.
Yeah, well, they're not a tough club. They're a clever club.
Clever club, yeah.
They're business. They run properly.
Yeah, business.
At the end of the day, they've done fantastic especially for the young English players. Look at Sancho. Sancho wouldn't still be playing now if he'd have stayed at Man City.
It's true. Good point. But obviously for him, he's made the move back to the Premier League. Hasn't quite worked out how he would have envisaged it, I'd imagine. Obviously, he was a big part of the England team during the Euros. This time, he's not even in the squad.
Yeah, look, I think it's tough to take. But again, I think for Sancho and for, say, United fans, I think what they've got to remember is he's coming from the Bundesliga. It's different. It's totally different. Give him a year to settle down and to get going. We usually give foreign players a year to get adjusted. Just because he's an English lad, but he's been playing over there for how long? Give him a little bit of time to get adjusted, and then you'll start seeing the best of him. I still think he's got a lot to give. I still think he's one of our best talents.
Mm-hmm.
One thing he needs to do is regain that confidence. I think he's lost that confidence. The confidence of when he used to just get the ball and just go. Could have 2-3 players in front and go. I'm taking them on. Don't worry. Now it's get the ball, do a step over, pass it back.
Yeah,
everything's safe. And it's tough. It's tough when you're playing in front of 70,000 fans, and your confidence is not there. That's Marcus Rashford. He's managed to get his back. At one stage, it wasn't there. So I think just give him a bit of time. He's a lad that's come from the Bundesliga. He's not come from the Premier League originally. Mm-hmm. So give him a chance to settle down and get that confidence back.
That's something that you'd imagine he'll be using this time as a kind of second pre-season to kind of boost his fitness.
You'd like to think so.
Hopefully, yeah. But like you said, that as soon as the Premier League starts again, there's going to be fixtures sort of left, right, and centre. And then you've got the
100,
FA Cup, and then you've got the European competition. So, Eric Ten Hag will be looking to the players who haven't gone to the World Cup as maybe a kickstart the rest of the players when they come back. They might be on a bit of a kind of low after the World Cup potentially. So yeah, you can see where his role will come in. So
yeah, 100%. But again, he's got to play with confidence, because you look at it as a young player, and don't get me wrong, he's still young, but he's coming into he's 22 now, probably.
Yeah.
He's coming into a time where you can overthink things. The lad Garnacho comes in, just does well, because he doesn't think too much. He just goes and does because he knows he's good. And I wouldn't say Garnacho is better than Sancho, but I would say now Garnacho's confidence is higher than Sancho, so he'll give you a lot more.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, he's just kind of playing off instinct at the moment.
Instincts, just go and play. Don't worry too much about it. I'll do what I know I'm good at.
That's exactly it. Yeah, it looks like he's got a lot of potential.
He looks fantastic, mate. He looks fantastic.
He does. Rapid. Obviously earning comparisons to Cristiano Ronaldo when he first broke through at Man United, but whether he can live up to those expectations remains to be seen. In terms of Liverpool, again, obviously Darwin Núñez kind of turned it around after a slightly shaky start. Liverpool have been linked with another striker, Napoli's Victor Osimhen. 100 million is the alleged price tag on him. Do you think Liverpool need to look for another striker, or do you think they've got enough options up front at the moment?
It would be nice. I was going to say striker, but it would be nice to have another striker, to be honest with you. But something different as well. And I think he does give you something different. So different to Bobby, and different to Núñez. They both can play on the wing. They both can play in different places, in different positions. Whereas Osimhen plays central, quick.
Yeah, rapid.
Got an eye for a goal. Can finish with both feet. Really, really good player. I think they paid quite a lot for him anyway, didn't they, Napoli? I think it was 60, 70 million they paid for him anyway.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. So, that's why he's commanding that sort of transfer. It would definitely be someone that would help Liverpool 100%, to be honest with you. And obviously they'd have been watching him. I obviously watched him last season with because of Leicester in the Europa.
Oh yeah.
And he scored against them.
Did he?
Yeah. But yeah, it was. He's a phenomenal player, and someone that I think would do well in the Premier League as well, because of the pace that he got, because of the directness that he's got, because of the eye for a goal.
So remains to be seen, but yeah, I think it's good. It's good that there's players out there in the transfer market like that, because there was a time when there weren't too many strikers kind of his sort, pacey and rapid. So I think you see Darwin Núñez, he's fast, but he's more of an aerial threat, isn't he? Let's be honest. So having him kind of, it would be kind of like Heskey, Michael Owen sort of combination there.
I would like to think so.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned Leicester there. Obviously, last season was Brendan Rodgers, was it second in charge? Now it's in his third. Could you, now they've got the momentum going, Maddison playing so well, could you see them actually challenging for a top 6 place if they keep this run going? Do you think they need to be more concerned about looking down the table?
I think just consolidate. I think looking at top 10, rather than saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna." Look, you want to aim as high as possible, but again, we've got to be realistic. The first and foremost, they've got to try and convince Yuri Tillemans to stay past his contract. Yeah, as well. Someone that is an integral part to the way that Brendan wants to play as well.
Incredible goals as well this season, isn't he?
Yeah. His technique is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, and defensively they've slowly got it to where they believe it should be. Goalkeeper had a tough time when he first started, but now he's showing his quality. He's at the World Cup, isn't he, with Wales?
Danny Ward. Yeah. Had a great game against Man City, didn't he?
Yeah, he's done fantastic. Again, when he first came in, I think I was watching it, and I was watching it with I think it was David James. No, it wasn't. It was Paul Robinson. And he was saying, really, he's only made one mistake. I can't remember when he came for one, and he kind of juggled it and dropped it, and then they scored.
Yeah,
that was the only mistake that he's really made. The other ones, you can't really do much about that. It's more of a defensive error.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he was conceding quite a few goals. And now, obviously, they've tightened up that defense, and they're doing a lot better. So I think that was the main thing. And then obviously going forward is can they replace Jamie Vardy? I don't think Daka is that replacement right now. I think they need someone who's going to, but they got time with Daka. And Iheanacho, I like it. I like Kelechi, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. But is he an impact player or is he a starter? And that's where we don't quite know yet. But yeah, we've got the nucleus of a good squad, of a good team. Just need to build on that squad. Harvey Barnes is phenomenal.
Yeah.
As long as we can keep him, as long as we can keep him, he's always going to be a threat.
Yeah, I think him and Maddison are kind of the nucleus of that team in an attacking sense, aren't they? But obviously, Jamie Vardy's been a huge figure at the club for quite a while now, and made the decision to stay, didn't he, when Arsenal went for him? It's a fair play to him. Can't question his integrity on that front. But yeah, he kind of needs someone to start coming through to push him. Obviously, Iheanacho, great talent there, but the consistency hasn't shown yet, has it? So
yeah.
I'd imagine Brendan will be looking to spend some money in January as well. If you're in his shoes, is anyone you'd be targeting?
Oof. The thing is, if we have because again we couldn't spend the money in the summer. If we have the money to spend in the January window, good question. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest with you. Because we couldn't spend it in the summer, I just thought that we'd go the full season with what we've got and just work on it. And it's not like we've sold anyone to bring any funds in. So
like you say, the priority probably is trying to get Tielemans to put pen to paper. But
pen to paper, yeah, that's that, and that is a key thing, to be honest with you, because he is integral to the way that we play, to be honest with you. If you watch, everything actually goes through him. I know everyone says it goes through Maddison, but no, firstly it goes through him. Then through Maddison,
exactly. Yeah, he's kind of like the engine before the sort of thing. Yeah. Heading back to Liverpool for just a minute. FFG, were you surprised when they kind of announced that the club is available up for sale? I know that the price tag they put on it was it 3 billion. Obviously, a amount of money, but does that destabilize the club in any way? Just knowing that there is kind of the potential for it to be bought, like kind of Chelsea, Abramovich to Todd Bowley.
It surprised me. It did surprise me. It did catch me by surprise, but you should never be surprised. Will it destabilize? It shouldn't do. Again, I don't think as players you should be using that as an excuse. Oh, well, we don't know what. No, it's still the biggest club in the world. Nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. Everything might change at the top, but on the pitch you should just be doing your job.
That's right.
I think it's too easy to then start saying, "Well, look at this." No, that's a cop out, to be honest with you.
So the only thing in terms of sort of the transfer market, if they are sort of looking for offers, are they going to be willing to invest as heavily as they have been previously?
Well, the thing is, like I said before, it depends. It depends who you're going to buy. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're going to put Jude Bellingham in your team, that's making the squad better, and that's making you as a club better in fundamentally. So that's putting value on the club. Well, if you go and buy someone else and it's not worth what everyone perceives that you bought them for, then that's possible. That's a possibility. You might not get the money, but you when you're looking at someone like Jude Bellingham and players like that, they're going to add value to the club.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Regardless of whether they actually get any offers for the club or not, Liverpool are still
100%,
aren't they? They're never going to kind of lose any of that international sort of global shine that they have. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens though. I mean, you can't predict these things in football sometimes.
There'll be plenty of bids for Liverpool. You got to remember, it's still institutionally the biggest, one of the biggest. You can say Man U, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Liverpool are in there. Arsenal are in there. They're the biggest institutes in football. So there'll be plenty of buyers, just getting the right people.
Yeah, it's true. One last question before I let you go and watch the World Cup. I think the first match is already kicked off, is it?
10 o'clock, yeah.
So
Saudi,
England,
right?
Yeah, that's right. So England's MVP for the tournament, one name. Who would it be?
Saka.
Yes. I was hoping you'd say that. Nice.
No, the thing is, right? The thing is, again, it's taking a young lad and putting all that on his shoulders, but him carrying it as well. And he's done fantastic. Yeah, the responsibility. Do you know the fascinating thing, and it boils down to it again, is young players don't overthink things, and they don't allow external noise. Once you start allowing external noise, that's when you start doubting things. They don't allow external; they just do. You know, so I think that's what he's doing. And might be later on in his career, he's like he looks back and says, "Well, why didn't I play the ending of my career, like the beginning of my career?" Because you overthink things when you get too old.
It's true. It's a psychological thing, and at the moment, it seems like we've got a lot of players who are just like you say, just acting impulsively, and it's working out. Perfect.
100%. It's great to see.